coming over tonight.
It's Challenger feature time here at Holland Speedway this evening. The entry-level strictly stock oval track division here at Holland. The Challengers on the track. And the way their schedules start, their 15-lap double-point feature tonight. Up in front in car number 27, James Botsenhart in the 27. On his outside in the Keith Sitko, number 25, Chad Nugent out of Portageville. In the Arcade Jewelers, number 23, that's Brian Collar out of Delavan. Driving the Conwell, number 11, John Gast out of Grand Island. Row 3 to the inside in the Sears Auto Center, number 57, Doug Evans of Lackawanna. On the outside in the Auto Electric, number 79, it's John Granditz of West Seneca. In the Slippy's Collision, number 01, Chris Slippy out of Springville. On his outside in the Cam Collision, number 51, Bill Adamczyk from Buffalo. In the Matuszek Blacktopping, number 6, it's John Matuszek of Arcade. On his outside in the Brooks Rigging, number 65 out of Hamburg, Smilin' Ed Kaczynski. The next row back, we have the top two in our points. Only 4 points separate these two drivers. To the inside, currently second in points. Car number 47, Mike McDonald out of Farnham. On his outside in the Rucker Lumber, number 10, out of Orchard Park, it's Tommy Krosick, your current points leader. Next row back in car number 95, the Kling Brothers, number 95 is Brian Weisenberg out of Lancaster. On his outside in the Blossom Feed, Barshell, number 14 out of Buffalo, Mike Flagg. Then we have car number 8, that's John Carlson of West Seneca. And the Lairs Auto Stop, number 43, Jamie Havens of Yorkshire. Driving the McDonald's, number 7, it's Alan Fisher out of Delavan. On his outside in the Convenience Food Mart, number 71, Jim Bansmer of East Aurora. Next row back to the inside in the Jerry Gradle Motors, number 20, out of Williamsville, Jerry Gradle Jr. On the outside of Gradle, in car number 4, the Andersons Towing Ride of Anton Anderson Jr. of Elma. Then we have the Jeff Price, number 89, the Price Trucking Ride of Jeff Price. Skipping back, we have Pete Fisher in car number 1. We see the Pit Stop Bar and Grill number 41 of Tom Reese, and the Price Trucking number 37 of Eddie Murray. "15 laps will be the distance in this Challenger main event. "24 cars set to go in this main event. The lights are off in the Ron Corbel Old Holland Speedway pace car. Botsenhart and Nugent will pick up the pace out of turn number 4. Here they come, the Challengers ready to go racing. The green flag is out and we are racing. Right on the start, Doug Evans is kicked into the infield in car number 57, and cars spinning in turn number 2. Botsenhart in the 27, and cars going every which way. Krosick is sideways. He backs down. He's collected by the 71 of Bansmer. The caution flag is out as a ragged start to this Challenger feature event. The 57 of Evans is sent spinning right on the initial green flag, and then the 27 car goes for a loop in turn number 2, collecting a number of other cars, including points leader Tommy Krosick in car number 10. Krosick manages to get his car pulled down. A little bit of wrinkled sheet metal, but otherwise it looks like the car is A-OK. The 27 of Botsenhart, who was on the pole position, spinning in turn number 2. It looks like he's done for the night.
A lot of smoke and steam pouring out of the 14 over on the backstretch, Rick, of Mike Flagg. A lot of damage on the front end of that car, and we saw a lot of steam and smoke coming out of it. Could be a busted radiator or at least a radiator hose. We see he's come to a halt. He's waiting for traffic to clear to get through the pit gate.
Yeah, it looks like in that mess in turn 2, he obviously nailed someone in the rear end in the heavy traffic that was trying to avoid the spun number 27 car. So we immediately have a caution on this first lap. The Western New York Snowmobile Club of Boston is raffling off the new 1995 Polaris Indy Trail Snowmobile. The drawing will be held on December 10th. Ooh, December already, getting cold. That will be at their annual Christmas party for the Snowmobile Club. Donation for tickets are only $1 a piece, or 6 tickets for $5. Money raised will benefit the Snowmobile Trail Fund. The club would like to thank Bliss Garage and Polaris Industries for helping the club make this raffle possible. Purchase a ticket tonight for this raffle, and the large life-size stuffed monkey on display here at the track tonight will be possibly yours.
Jerry Gradle Jr. just headed for pit road, Rick. And we understand Kenny Hangour has a story in the infield.
Well, we're down here in the infield next to the 27 of Jim Lafredo, and I'm going to walk over and pick up parts of his race car. This is part of the cowling over the radiator on his, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's part of the cowling over the radiator, over the fan on his race car. And after he got involved in the back straightaway, this particular part, the cowling, was rubbing on the fan. So he jumped out, tore it off with his hands, threw it into the infield. It looks like Jim is ready to go back racing, back up to race control.
Just got word from one of our cameramen, Bob Gilbert. He told me that the 20 car of Gradle had a bumper that was hanging off, so Jerry is headed for pit road to have his crew remove it. You see his car over there now. They got a torch at work on it to cut the bumper off the back of the 20 car. He'll come back out and get in at the back of the pack. Now, one of the advantages of our rules here at the Speedway, of course, cars involved in the caution go to the back of the pack, but we do not go back. At a lot of tracks, they would try to set up an original restart on this because all the cars did not complete the first lap. These things can go on forever that way. So instead, we're scoring at one lap in, and we take them the way they took the caution, just exactly the way they were running, in an effort to expedite the show. So that's been a part of the Holland Speedway rules for a long time. We don't go back to the last completed lap, and we don't give them a complete restart if all the cars don't complete the first lap. You can spend forever trying to do that. We're not about to spend forever, although it may seem like it on a cool night like this. And the torch job has been complete on the Gradle car, and he's headed back for the lineup, and of course, due to the trip to pit road, he will start at the back. Car number 89, Rick, the Price Mobile, was holding back on the start. I watched him going down the back straightaway on that original start. There was about a 12-car gap between him and the car in front of him. I don't know if he was going to try for a rocket start coming off the fourth turn or what, but could be that was pretty good strategy. We usually say the closer the car is, the fairer the start. You hang back on a start like that, you watch the pack run off and leave you. However, with a melee over there in turn number 2, that may have been a good move that time around, but is not always the hot setup or the best of race strategy.
Whether that was planned or not, as you indicated, Larry, it worked out for the best for Jeff Price that time around. And Tom Reese apparently expressing a little bit of a concern with something going on the track right now. And they're shuffling him behind Krosick in car number 10. This is also, in a strange way, a break for Doug Evans. Doug got tagged right in the initial green and went sliding through the infield grass, and had the race continued under green, Doug looked like he was riding his car, but was going to be about 3/4 of a lap down to everyone by the time he got back up to speed. But the accident that immediately followed on turn number 2 has allowed him to fall right into the rear of the field, and so although he'll be starting at the rear, he won't be down about 3/4 of a lap to everybody else. Well, Doug Carnes atop the starter stand.
Four scores now up to $1,750, $1,750 and climbing. We'll draw after the modified feature before the Budweiser 100, so it's at $1,750, and you've still got time to buy tickets. 2 more features to go before we pull the lucky winner.
The white flag is out. We're going to go racing the next time by, and as we were telling you a little bit earlier, the Western New York Snowmobile Club holding the raffle tonight, and anyone who purchases a ticket tonight also automatically gets included in a raffle for the large life-size stuffed monkey, which is on display tonight, and the drawing for that will be at trackside also after the Pro Modified feature tonight. On this restart, it will be Chad Nugent at the 25 and John Gast in the 11 pacing the field. John Granditz in the 79, Billy Adamczyk in the 51. Ed Kaczynski in the 65, Chris Slippy in the 01 in row number 3. The pace car moving off the track. Nugent and Gast lead him down. The green is on, and we are racing once again. And Nugent getting sideways in turn number 1, but Granditz hard on the brakes, avoids any contact whatsoever, and we continue under green flag conditions. John Gast in car number 11 is your race leader. Kaczynski in the 65 and Adamczyk in the 51 are side by side for spots 2 and 3. Gast has opened up about a 5-car length lead here in the early going. Adamczyk up in second place. Kaczynski is third. Slippy in the 0-1, riding in fourth. Granitz in the 79 is fifth. Here comes Matuzak in the sixth, moving his ride to the outside, looking for a little bit of running room. Back in the pack, some heavy action is some of the top dogs in this division, looking for double points being awarded in this feature race tonight. Trying to improve their position on the track as well as in the season-long point standings. See Mike McDonald in a fine spot right now. McDonald is up now and looks to be about 8th or 9th place in car number 47. He was just 4 points behind points leader Tom Krosick going into tonight's action. Krosick, of course, was caught up in that early race melee and is now about 10 or so spots behind McDonald, and there's a point differential of 4 points per position on this double points night. Anton Anderson pulling off into the infield. We can see a dark streak behind the Anderson number 4, but we continue under green flag conditions. Gast in the 11, Adamczyk in the 51, and Kaczynski in the 65 have opened up a large lead between themselves and the cars doing battle for 4th place, namely Chris Slippy in the 0-1, John Granitz in the 79, John Carlson in the 8th, and John Matuzak in the 6th. Some great side-by-side action in that race for 4th place. Granitz holding the low groove in the 79. Slippy trying to make the move up high in the 0-1. Matuzak cast his lot with the Slippy number 0-1 working the high groove behind the yellow car, while John Carlson is working downstairs right behind the Granitz number 79. We see the cross flags indicating that we've gone beyond the halfway point. We have 8 down, 7 to go in this Challenger feature event. The main event for the strictly stock entry-level division here at Holland Speedway. John Gast, Bill Adamczyk, and smiling Ed Kaczynski continue to set quite a hefty pace out there. Jamie Havens goes for a spin off of turn number 4 in car number 43. A past feature winner here in this division in 1994. It's not going to happen tonight for Jamie Havens. 10 down, 5 to go for your race leaders. Gast, Adamczyk, and Kaczynski. That race for 4th place still hot and heavy as Granitz in the 79, Slippy in the 0-1, Carlson in the 8, and Matuzak in the 6. All going at it. And don't look now, but Tommy Krosick has worked his way back up. He's right behind Mike McDonald in the 47, so the cars who are first and second in points are running one right behind the other. Currently running 4 positions, 8 and 9 on the track. If they finish in that order, they'll be tied for the points lead. Krosick trying to make a move to the inside of McDonald right now. And they're quickly reeling in the 4 cars immediately ahead who are doing battle for 4th place. In the meantime, your lead trio putting a lap on Jamie Havens. They have nearly a half a lap advantage over the cars in competition for the number 4 spot. John Gast in the 11, and we have a car bursting into flames. Pete Fisher in the number 1. We saw a sudden burst of flames underneath car number 1. He takes it to the infield. The caution flag is out. The caution flag is out as we're immediately going over to check on Pete Fisher. We saw a sudden burst of flames from underneath the number 1 of Pete Fisher. Pete bails out of his car. He's apparently A-OK. The car is done for the evening, and Larry Dye with 2 laps left. It looked like we're going to have 3 cars running away with this one, and suddenly this race for 4th place could now make it a big race for 1st place.
It certainly can, and another thing that's going to prevail here, Rick, is one of the good rules that we have at Holland Speedway is weather permitting, we finish these races under green. No more of these wussy races where you finish under caution. We bring them home under green, even if we have to go green-white checker. The last 2 laps have to be under green, and so this is going to tighten the field. They can circle all night under caution, and we've still got 2 laps to go to settle this one. It's a tough break for the top 3 cars that were out there that had a great advantage over the rest of these battles, so it's a bad break for those 3 cars, a good break for the cars immediately behind them. And of course, I know everybody has their favorites in the field, and so some people are disappointed over the caution. Some are saying, fantastic, we're going to have a great finish. And so it's good for some and not so good for the others, but that's the breaks of the racing game, which has always been a sport of good and bad luck and breaks and so on, no choice but to bring out the caution. That thing was involved with flames. I called it really quick, fire main straight away. When they came by the flag stand, something unloaded on that car and the whole bottom was lit up with fire. Fisher took it over in the infield, spun it to a stop, bailed out in a hurry. Obviously still on fire, and we had no choice but to throw the caution to bring that under control. So it was a tough break for some of the guys, a tremendous advantage for some of the others, and we should see an exciting finish as we go over the 13th, 14th, and 15th lap in this Challenger feature race of the evening.
Cool move by Pete Fisher there. He probably realized that he was in severe trouble with flames coming out. He probably realized things were a little hot under his feet, under the floorboards, and by taking it into the infield, spinning it on the grass, he effectively damped out the fire himself by that move. So a very smart move by Pete Fisher in car number 1.
And Kenny Hanauer's got a story in the infield.
Well, we were down here with the Pete Fisher car. They have since rolled it back into the middle of the infield. Pete told me he blew the motor. When he blew the motor, the oil just dumped down on the hot exhaust pipes, caused the car to flame up. And he made one remark. He said, you know, this car really was running good. But then they always run good before they blow up. And that's what happened to Pete Fisher, the car number 1. Blown motor, out of competition, back up to race control.
Well, thanks, Kenny. We talked about a lot of adages in racing, or sayings, if you will, about good brakes, bad brakes, and other ones, and it's certainly been a primary rule of the sport of auto racing. Those motors always run the best. They loosen up good and really run great right before that giant eruption. So, tough break for the Pete Fisher car number 1, driving a great race out there until that happened to him. So another thing with that oil bursting into flame, if that hadn't happened, we'd have had a track full of oil and we could have had a massive crash down there in turn number 1. So although it did reel the rest of the field in with the leaders, it certainly could maybe have been a good break for everybody in the pack rather than dumping oil all over turn 1.
Well, the white flag is out. We're going to go racing the next time by for the final 2 laps in this event, and we've also been watching the race within a race. Tommy Krosick in the 10 and Mike McDonald in the 47 dueling it out for the points championship, and Krosick has made a great comeback drive in car number 10, and he's actually passed McDonald. He's currently running in 8th place right now. McDonald in the 47 is in 9th. Gaston in the 11, Adamczyk in the 51 will lead him down. A 2-lap dash for the checkers here to conclude this Challenger feature race. The green is on, and we are racing once again. And problems right on the start. Slippy in the 0-1 and Carlson in the 8 coming together. Slippy takes his car into the infield. And a tough break for Chris Slippy. He had been running up in 4th place, and a car sideways. T-bone coming out of turn number 2. That's Jeff Price. And we have another car in trouble in turn number 4. So things happening all over the place. Chris Slippy gets bounced to the infield on the restart. Coming out of 2, Jeff Price spins to number 89, and Lafredo in the 27. T-bones Price over in turn number 4. We had a car lose a wheel, and Doug Evans in the 57 had nowhere to go and clobbered the car that was out of commission in turn number 4. And that was Alan Fisher in the 7 who lost a tire. So the Racing Fisher's having a rough time tonight. Pete Fisher blows an engine. Al Fisher loses a tire and gets T-boned in the process in turn number 4. Doug Carnes is telling the field to double up. The challengers do 2x2 restarts throughout the length of their feature event. And then he unfurls the white flag, which means the next time around we're going to get this thing restarted. We're still holding on 13 laps, 13 down, 2 to go to the checkers. It'll be a 2-lap dash to the checkers to complete this Challenger feature event. So on the 2x2 restart, once again, we find John Gaston in the 11, Bill Adamczyk in the 51 in row number 1, John Granditz in the 79, Ed Kaczynski in the 65 in row number 2, John Matuzak in the 6, Tommy Krosick in the 10 in row number 3, Jerry Gradle Jr. in the 20, Mike McDonald in the 47 in row number 4, Tom Reese in the 41, and Jim Bansmer in the 71 complete your top 10. The lights are off in the pace car. Dick Hartman will wheel that machine off the track, and it will be up to Gaston and Adamczyk to bring him down out of turn number 4. The green is out, and we are racing once again. John Gaston, car number 11, holding steady in the inside lane. Adamczyk trying to pull even into turn number 3. They'll be showing the white flag to the field this time around. 1 lap remains in this Challenger feature event. Gas trying to hold on to a 1 car length lead advantage. Adamczyk trying to make a move to the outside. Grandit's in third, just looking for an opening, hoping that the 2 drivers ahead of him make a mistake on the final turns. Here they come through 3 and 4 for the final time, and it's going to be Gas with the victory. Adamczyk is second. Grandit's third. Kaczynski fourth. Krosik is fifth. So John Gast picking up the victory. Fast by Gaston. He certainly was that tonight in car number 11. With Bill Adamczyk finishing second. John Granditz, finishing third. Ed Kaczynski fourth. And Tommy Krosik making a nice comeback drive to finish in 5th place. In the Conwell, number 11. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for John Gast. John Gast taking the victory lap here this evening in car number 11. A nice drive by John, holding off Bill Adamczyk. John currently third in points going into this evening's racing activities, and of course this win tonight will solidify his hold on 3rd place as a double points race. However, John was well over 100 points behind 2nd place Mike McDonald, so although he's made up a little bit of ground on McDonald and Krosik, he's certainly still a distance back in the points chase.
Tell Dave when you're done with the interview. Dave Cram, photographer, I got to check up.
And John Gast completing his victory lap, and we'll pull it into victory lane for the ceremonies. He brings the car to a halt. He's going to hand the checkered flag over to Kenny momentarily while he gets himself unbuckled from the cockpit of his racer. And he'll climb out, and as soon as he climbs out, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you want to make some noise, when we can hear you when he steps out of his car. There he is! Put your hands together for John Gast! Let's go trackside to Kenny Hangauer and John Gast. Kenny?
Well, we're down here with the driver of the Conwell, car number 11. First time in victory circle, John. You got to come over here. We put you right in that camera up there. John, you're a former drag racer. Whatever made you decide to go from drag racing to oval?
Well, I'll tell you, the Winston Cup Series. I started watching Winston Cup racing back in '83, and Bill Elliott was my favorite. And I've been watching Bill ever since, and I've gone to all kinds of races. I go to at least 4 races a year. In fact, I was at the Brickyard 400. That's why I wasn't here that night. But this is my first win. I really feel great. It couldn't have happened without the support of my wife, Zenka, who allows me to come out here on Saturday night and race. We also, Conwell, who supports us, and Riverside Trucking, Fast by Gas, my brother was a motorcycle racer. John Simon from Super Gas, who supplies me all the Cam 2. And I'll tell you what, the guy that really made this possible is Harold Clark. He's the guy that works with me every night till 3 in the morning. And he's the one that really makes it happen. And also, we got to remember my past crew chief who passed away this year, Wayne Howard. This one we did for Wayne. Thank you very much.
Okay, how about, ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause for the Challenger feature winner, John Gast out of Grand Island. And back up to race control.
And now, joining John Gast in victory lane will be representatives from our local AEP Auto Parts distributors and jobbers. And this time it will be Mike Schuler out of Expert Tire in Hamburg. Will be greeting John Gast in victory lane. And now representing Triad Distributing and Budweiser, Gordon Hessel down there to present the trophy to John Gast. And the victory photo is being taken down there with John Gast trackside. Now, track photographer Dave Clammett clicking another one down there. And John will now climb back into the